Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have for you a Big Hugs patterned paper card featuring supplies from the February Simon Says Stamp Kit. So let's jump right in. So here you can see I've already cut down my cardstock. I have the base cut down from the cotton candy cardstock that came in the kit. And I'm going to score it in the middle there. I have it cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is your standard A2 size. And I'm just using my Scor-Buddy and my Teflon folder to put a good crease in there. And my other pieces of paper here, I'll let you know what they're cut to because I did it all off screen just to make sure that I could make it work. So the white panel that you see me playing with right now, the white panel is 3 3/4 by 5. The black mat is 3 3/16 by 5 1/16. The pattern paper is 1 1/2 by 5, and the mat that's underneath the pattern paper is 1 9/16 by 5 1/16. I know that sounds really complicated. Honestly, you guys, you could just put it in your trimmer, cut them to the same length, and then put it back in again and cut the one you want just like a smidge smaller. I measure mine out so that I can tell you what I've cut it to, but you don't have to do that. You can honestly just eyeball it. It's what I do most of the time. So here you can see that I've taken some circle dies from the We Are Nested Circles dies set. I have the 6th and the 7th from the smallest size, and I have another piece of the black cardstock and the white cardstock that I used. And I'm just cutting circles for my sentiment. And you can see I'm using my little Gemini Go. I love this thing. My husband got it for me for Christmas, this past Christmas, and I'm just loving it so much. It just makes it so easy when they have small dies to cut. So I'm just showing you there that I'm pulling it out. And I thought that this card's a bit late. I know it's the February kit. I haven't gotten my April kit yet. That's okay. I'm happy to wait. I love the Simon Says Stamp kits. They're stunning. The art in the stamp sets is wonderful. I'm so excited to see what June's card has to offer. I think it gets relaunched. It'll be announced on Thursday. I'm recording this just before Thursday. You guys will see it after it's gone up. But I'm just so excited. It's got butterflies. I saw a teaser for it. So here you can see I took the Big Hugs stamp out of the stamp set, and I've got my mini Misti, and I've got the smallest of my circle dies, or my circle paper. And I'm going to use a Distress Oxide to stamp the sentiment. I believe I used Tattered Rose. Nope, Spun Sugar, sorry. I used Spun Sugar. And I'm just going to ink it up, stamp it down. I've eyeballed this to the best of my ability. I eyeball things a lot. I'm not big on measuring things, and sometimes it pans out well for me and sometimes it doesn't. This card had actually worked out pretty good. I think that I got it pretty centered. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I mean, it's a handmade card. Anybody who receives one from me is generally very excited, so I don't really worry about that so much. So here you can see I had a struggle. I love the Nuvo Deluxe glue. However, I glued the cap, like the tip of the cap, onto the lid of the glue. So to get it, I'm going to play with this for a minute. And I'm sorry it's off screen. That didn't really help you guys see how to fix this. But I screwed the lid back on as tight as I could screw it on. And then I wiggled it around. And then I unscrewed it a little bit, wiggled it around a whole bunch more, and then I took it off and it was in the lid. Now you're not going to see me fix the lid. I don't think it's not in this video. But I took my reverse tweezers and I just pulled the dried glue out of the lid that was the problem. That's why it stuck to the tip of the bottle. So I pulled it out with my reverse tweezers, and that fixed the problem. I haven't had a problem with it since. So here you can just see that I'm going to stick down all of my layers. I like to mat things. You don't have to, by any means. That's just something I like to do. I like how it looks. I find it makes things pop, and it's just a little added extra. But by no means feel that you have to do this. You don't. And I went a little crazy on the matting in this card, but I think it really worked for what I was doing here. Because this card is fairly simple in that we're only sticking down paper. We're not doing much in techniques with this. So we're just, sticking down a bunch of paper, and that's kind of, well, there's some leaves. We're going to get to that part, but that's kind of pretty much all we're doing. I struggle to use pattern paper. Generally, I think it's stunning. I have a bunch of it. but I struggled to use it on cards. So this was me trying to figure out a way to incorporate some paper, so I didn't allow myself a lot of stamping or a lot of playing with other things, just because I thought that I would lose my ability to play with the patterned paper, so I didn't do anything with it. But yeah, so we're still gluing down panels. This is going to go on the card base. If you get some glue that runs out, I just use my finger and wipe it off. I have no problems with that. It doesn't bother me at all. If it bothers you, you could of course just use a paper towel or something to wipe it off, but I don't mind, so I just use my finger. But I'm going to glue down all of my layers, and then we're going to move on to stamping out some leaves. I believe that's next. This is post-editing, so I don't always remember what step came next until we get to it. But yeah, so I'm going to center. This is just down on the closer to the bottom third of the card, just because that rule of thirds always looks better. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the circle big hugs. It's going to be towards the right hand side, and then like in the towards the third of the right hand side. And you can see I get a little glue crazy sometimes. I love glue, so I love liquid glue because I like to mat things and I eyeball a lot of things. It gives you a chance to wiggle stuff around in case it's not quite lined up the way you wanted it to be. So it just gives you a little more time to kind of make sure that it's exactly where you wanted it to be. Okay, so here we are going to stamp down some leaves. So in this little stamp set, there isn't a lot of images. There's a lot of borders, but there's not a lot of like focal images. So with my big hugs, I felt like it was something was missing. It wasn't quite done the way it is now. Now you could call it done, but I felt like it needed something more. And there was these two little leaves in the stamp set. So I stamped them down on another piece of the same white cardstock. And I'm going to do 5 because I always work in uneven numbers. That's just how I do. I find that everything, personally, I find it visually, it's more appealing if you work in uneven numbers. So I'm going to stamp out 5 leaves, and then I'm going to fussy cut them out, which I know some people don't enjoy. I do believe that there is a die set for this stamp set. I don't own it, I personally have no problem with fussy cutting. It doesn't bother me at all. I know some people really don't enjoy it, but I don't mind, so I tend to just fussy cut things. And I find the Holtz Mini snips are amazing for fussy cutting things. It's just so easy to use them to cut out anything. Really, that's what I use anytime I do any kind of fussy cutting. The Mini Snips by Holtz, the 5-inch ones. So I'm using the same Distress Oxide, the same spun sugar to stamp out these leaves. And anything that I use in any of my videos will be listed and linked below. So don't worry if I forget to mention one of the products that I'm using. I promise you it will be linked below. Obviously you can't buy this kit anymore because, we're in May and this came out in February. So you can't buy the kit itself, but most of the items in a kit are sold separately. So if there's something that you really love from the set, it will be linked down below. So don't worry about that. So here you can see that I'm just going to play a little bit with my layout. Like I knew that I wanted to add the 5 leaves, but I kind of had to figure out how to add them onto the card that kind of made them help the big hugs. Because the big hugs is kind of your focal on this. So I'm kind of just going to play around with my layout a little bit, trying to figure out how I want them laid out to still draw your eye. So if you guys don't know, I have a giveaway going on when this goes live. You have one more day to enter. So if you want to enter, you absolutely can. It's just my 100 subscriber giveaway. We jumped very quickly past 100, so I'm a bit behind. We're almost at 200 now, I believe, which is just amazing. I cannot thank you guys enough for your support and your commenting and your liking and your subscribing, and just it's a little bit mind-boggling still. Every once in a while I still think that I was crazy to try this, and so it's so amazing to have all of the support that you guys are giving me, and I cannot say thank you enough. And I'm not even sure how to express how much I appreciate every single one of you. You are all amazing, and I thank you so much for stopping by and supporting me in my love of paper crafting, and I cannot wait to see where we're going to go from here. and how far we can get with the crafting, how it changes and how long I get to be a part of it. And it's just amazing. So thank you guys so much for accepting me into this amazing YouTube sharing of our paper crafting and the love that comes from this community. I cannot thank you guys enough. So yeah, so I decided where I liked my leaves. As you can see, I decided to stick them down, laying on top of each other, so it kind of made like a wreath around there. So that's one thing the circle really did for you, because it kind of gave you that leaf, or the circle shape, so I could easily build a bit of a wreath around the sentiment. And here in my kit, I got the Nuvo Deluxe crystal jewels, the Nuvo crystal jewels. I didn't get the blue teardrop ones that were supposed to come in the kit. They must have run out by the time my kit got packaged, but I don't mind. I love these crystals. I think they're stunning. I love the Nuvo crystals. So I put 5 of them on because, again, I like uneven numbers. And then I'm going to glue those down as well. And that's pretty much the card. So I hope you guys enjoyed this card. It's a bit of a different one for me, just because it's focusing more on pattern paper than coloring or watercolor or things that I'm a little more comfortable with. So if you enjoyed it, please let me know. If you want to leave a like, that would be amazing. If you want to subscribe, I would love to have you. I post new videos every Monday, and I cannot wait to see you guys again next week, and I cannot wait to see who wins my little giveaway. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now, guys. Thank you.